Since since there can be a bit of confusion about the idea of translation and what does it mean in practice, I have to go back to paper. Okay, now this is a simple pencil. In Italy, it's called carpenter pencil. I don't know if it is the same in English. By the way, you can cut the point flat in this way. In this way, you can have something that resembles a broad nib pen, okay, a reed pen. Now, this is not particularly okay. When you go, okay, this is the writing angle. Okay, I'm keeping the pen in this way, in this direction. You can see the cut. When I end the stroke, this is the writing angle. Okay? Now, okay. Now, moving without rotation means that you move the writing tool without rotating the point, the head of the writing tool. You can see what happens. Okay. You can see that the thickness of the stroke change over the path. Okay. This is a very, very simple thing, because you just move, and then when you go in the direction of the writing angle, you have a thin stroke. When you move in the opposite direction, orthogonal direction, you have a thick stroke. If you apply this to the letter O, you have this, and you have the thinnest parts that define the axis. Now, if you use a different writing angle, so let's assume that this is the baseline. If we use a writing angle of this kind, quite flat, you still have an axis, but it is it moves toward the vertical. Now, what happens if you use a steeper writing angle, like this one? Okay. Now, the bottom and top part are heavier than the laterals. This is just because of the change we made in the writing angle. Okay? Now, sorry, it is slanted. It should be more centered. Okay, this is the effect of the writing angle, and it derives from the fact that I never change or almost never change the this writing angle, so the pen never rotates. Okay, it just moves without rotation. What happens if I move and rotate the tool? I have a uniform stroke because I followed the path with the front of the pen, rotating the pen. Now, if I go in another direction, I can have a thin line, and if I change randomly the angle, I can have something like this that do not follow any rule. Okay, so when I talk about translation, I just mean the contrast effect that derives from the writing tool that just move along the path without changing the rotation of the pen, more or less. That is the concept of contrast that derives from translation. Okay. This, by the way, is an oversimplification of what happens in calligraphy, when you write by hand using a pen, a reed pen, or a brush. Because in reality, we have exceptions to the rule. So it is true that when you take a calligraphy class, they teach you to write the O in this way, just translating without moving the front of the pen, without rotating the front of the pen. And by the way, this is the main problem when one begins to learn calligraphy, because the tendency is to change the angle while you write. Okay, Now, when you have to write the letter N, uppercase N, the capital N, you cannot use the fixed angle, because let's see what happens. You have 3 thick lines, but observing the model of capital letter, you see that the N actually looks like this. In N, the verticals are thin in the epigraphic capital. So, in letters like N, you have to assume that the writing angle is different from normal and somewhat changes during the path, along the path, okay? Moreover, with this pencil, the front of the pencil is hard, doesn't allows for easy movements, so you cannot actually achieve the kind of serifs that you see in capital letters, because they are the product of the brush that can slide and change direction to produce particular effect. So the idea of pure translation, pure movement without any kind of rotation of the pen, is an abstraction, is something that you cannot really find in an actual writing. More or less, it is realistic, because for the great majority of letters, you have actually this. You have this movement without rotation. This is what you have, for example, in lowercase. Okay. Another letter that do not follow the same writing angle is the Z. Okay. In the model, epigraphic classical model, you see that Z is made like this. The horizontal lines are quite thin, and the diagonal, again, is quite thick, okay? But if you try to use the normal angle of writing, you get something, you get something like this. Now, all the lines are thin, and the diagonal is the thinnest. In Z, they teach you to keep the normal angle for the 2 horizontal lines, then switch to the flat position for the diagonal. I'm sorry, but this is cut in a bad way, so I cannot. Okay. Okay. If you switch to the flat position, so the angle is exactly 0, the angle is measured like this. This is the position of the front of the pen. This is the baseline, and this is the writing angle. Okay. If you keep the front of the pen flat, this angle tends toward 0. So in this position, a diagonal that goes from top right to bottom left will be quite thick. Okay, so in reality, in the real world, as they say, you don't have a absolute rule. But in general, to understand the distribution of contrast in most of the letters, you can assume this. The writing angle is kept, the writing angle is kept stable, more or less. It is easier with the calligraphic pen, okay? So, and you get the nice backward slanted axis. Let's see what happens, for example, for the book capitals, the rustic capitals that we saw today. We say that the difference derives from the writing angle. So let's keep a vertical, steeper writing angles and try to make a voila. Then, if you want to trace an E, you have this. And let's say you want an R, again, you have this. So this concept of right angle is actually useful to explain macro differences between certain letters, certain styles. Hope these have explained a bit better the idea of translation, that is movement without rotation. Okay. It is like, I mean, if I say this object is subject to a translation, let's see. Let's say this is a car. This is just an example. When the car moves along a path, obviously it changes position. Okay. A car that is just translated along this path will look like this. It just moves, but never change, never rotate. So never change the direction. This can happen, I think, if you completely lose control of your car. It is to make an example of this idea of translation movement without rotation. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to our no, sorry, I forgot to. Okay. To summarize, today we have seen in details this idea of the stroke by Nordsey and what it means. We have seen the two model of contrast. So again, our main subject is contrast. We have two models. See. One is translation. No. And the other is expansion. Oops. Okay. Then we saw again the idea of widths. Where we have compressed typefaces. Versus expanded. Sorry. It's not that easy to expand. Okay, where expansion and translation is given by the proportions between horizontal length and height. Okay. We also saw, sorry. We also saw that when we draw, we can draw typefaces using, let's say, drawing using parts. Using parts, I mean, for example, we have serif, we have a stem, etc., and we compose the different letters by joining parts. Okay, this is more a work of construction. Then we also see the idea of drawing positive, negative, where we focus on the interconnection between the outside and inside. And we try to balance the positive and negative parts of letters. And the goal here is to give to the empty part, the white part, the negative part, a good shape. And not treat the white part as just what is left from tracing shapes. Okay? You, when you focus on this, basically you try to give dignity to the empty part. So okay. if you use this approach, you can also start to explore. You can also start to explore a certain degree of disconnection between positive and negative. I mean, until now we have letters that are made. Let's take the O. Is more or less made in this way. So the inner part is can be just thought as the product of a surrounding stroke. Now, if you disconnect the two parts, you can think of something like this that clearly cannot be totally explained by the translation or expansion model, where the outside is an ellipse, more or less, and the outside is a rectangle. So you have this contrast between two different shapes. And you can also try to see if this idea can produce an interesting thing. For example, let's see, for a letter like G, it can be used in some way. Etc., etc. So it is just an example of an extreme disconnection between the two parts, the inside and the outside. That can create maybe some interesting effects. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that it is all for today. Remember to upload. Let's do it now. I create a new assignment. Let's see. Okay. Okay, if you remember, last time I asked you to produce drawing on the same letters that you have drawn in class, trying to remove the contrast, to change, alter the contrast. I don't know, do you remember this? It was the last thing that I said before the end of the lesson. We made in class exercise to make a portrait of our letters. Then I said, try to take this letter and give more weight to the thin part so that you have letters with decreased contrast. By the way, I will describe these. Sorry. So I postpone the. Okay. No, maybe it is too much. Sorry. Let's see. 24. Okay. Now, upload the drawing here. I will add the description. I ask you to do this before the 24th of October, so next Thursday, before our lesson. And that's all. Then next Friday we will make other exercises in class. Okay?
The assignment is to only remove the contrast from the letters below. Yeah.
You have done? Have you done this?
No.
No? Okay. It is quite simple. But, okay. Now, the first exercise was about, why? Okay. The first exercise was about drawing the letters as they are. Okay, so let's assume that you have made an A. Just remember that we used this mode. No. Why? We used this model here, okay? The last 2 pages of a file called exercise B in the slide section, Roman capital. Okay, you go. Okay, let's say I made an A. And then a D. Oops. Okay. And a D. They more or less example, this one. Now, removing contrast. Removing contrast can be done by adding more weight to the scene parts. So in A, it means adding weight to this part, and if you interpret the serifs as a part, you can also add weight to serifs. Okay. The final shape will be something like this. Okay. In D, again, you add weight here. Let's say it depends on how you interpret the serifs. Then you add weight here. So that at the end, you have your letter made like this, the red outline. Okay? Okay. Then I said, select objects. Okay. I said to continue adding weight to the thin parts, former thin parts. Okay. If you continue to add weight to the former thin parts, you should have something like this, where now what was thin at the origin is now thick. Okay? So in this case, you will have a letter that symbols like something like this. Okay? And you have no. Okay. After this treatment, you should have this situation where what at the beginning was thin is now thicker than the rest. Okay, so this is keep adding weight. Okay. This is step 1, and this is step 2. When I make these sketches, I'm quite messy. So you should be more accurate than me when you draw. So after you make some sketch, redraw the outlines in a decent way, more cleanly than me. And you have to observe this. When you redraw this, this is my sketch. So when I have to redraw this, I normally have to redraw the letters, even the original letters, every letter, trying to find some constant. Okay, so if this is my serif, let's say I draw it a little bit better, I try to use a similar shape with the same dimension for the other serif. And if this is the weight of the stem of letter D, let's say, and I have the letter I after D, I will use the same weight. So I will use the same weight for the stem. I will use the same weight thickness for the serif and the same shape. Okay. So redrawing these letters after the sketch means not only going on, drawing on the sketch to find the contour, but also trying to find regularities and apply regularities to all the letters so that every letter has the same stem. No, not all the alphabet, but a bunch of the letter. One is not enough because 10 maybe is too much, 5, 6 is good. Part is important. When you draw letters, once you have defined with your sketch what you want to go, let's say you have H, I, N, F, no, H, I, O, and G. Now, the round part of G should be similar in weight to the round part of O, obviously. Otherwise, they look like they do not belong to the same alphabet, the same typeface. The stem, the vertical part of I, should be the same of the vertical parts of H, etc., etc. The shapes of serifs should be the same in all letters. The thickness of serifs should be the same. So after the sketch, you have to go through a process of regularization and redrawing with these regularities in mind. But we will see this in details next week. Okay, bye.